You do have the president putting pressure on Zelensky to open and extend this investigation, not only with his personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, but also with his attorney general, Bill Barr. So he's roping both of those men in this conversation into this idea of an investigation to damage his leading opponent in the 2020 campaign. You had the Zelensky saying that we need some more Javelin missiles. That's the military aid we've been talking about. The president says, I need you to do us a favor, though. Remember, before the president had made this call, he had held up that aid, and it continued to be held up for a while to the consternation of people on the Hill. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Zelensky decides to play that, since the words of the conversation are now public. And for the president, I expect him to say that this is, a nothing burger, completely appropriate, even though it is not appropriate for the president to ask a foreign leader to investigate his opponent.
We've heard similar thoughts, John and Michelle, now from Pelosi, from Adam Schiff, from a lot of the Democratic leaders. But at the same time, the White House did decide to release these notes, probably for a reason. So how else can they be interpreted?
Well, first of all, I think that they released them because they thought it exonerated the president, right? That's why they don't see any official quid pro quo in here. I think Zelensky is going to be extremely solicitous of the president in this news conference. That's what he is here in this conversation. He is very, very solicitous to President Trump from sentence one, paragraph after paragraph after paragraph. I don't expect him to diverge when he's on. If he does, it will be big news.
Will there be any way that this plays poorly for him politically at home? In other words, what is the calculus? He's a relatively new leader, and he was an unexpected choice as well. He's a comedian. I mean, what factors might he be weighing? He's
another one of these guys that the establishment never saw coming. Former comedian, former actor, was tired of all the... No one in Ukraine will be insulted when I say Ukraine is very corrupt, right? And he was tired of it, and the population was tired of it as well. So the politics in the Ukraine very much go down, remember I reported there for CNBC in 2014, are, do you think Ukraine should be aligned with Russia, or do you think Ukraine should be aligned with the West? And he's very much about Ukraine being aligned with the West. So if that's part of the population, we'll be very supportive, I think. And the other part of the population that thinks they should be more involved with Russia will not be.
Larry, what would you add to that? Just want to get Mr. Sabato in here quickly. We might hear from them any minute, Larry.
Well, look, I agree with John Harwood. If you don't need a quid pro quo for impeachment, although there's a clear implied quid pro quo in that non-transcript. That's not a transcript. It's a bunch of notes taken by various people during the call. I think at the very least that call was inappropriate, highly inappropriate, and Democrats will take it and run with it and probably use it as the basis for an eventual impeachment. Now, President Trump isn't going to be ousted by the Senate. Anybody knows that.
Right.
So kabuki theater, and we'll get through it, and then we'll go on to the actual campaign.